About 300 people were on hand to welcome the Campbell family. Gordon, his wife Sara, daughters Lydia and Hannah were in for a big surprise. Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation has spearheaded making this wounded warrior's dream come true. Fairway has provided a mortgage-free home south of Muncie, and many other donations have helped get them started here.
Through here, these guys are going to go to present arms, and that's when you'll render your hand salute if you plan to. Okay, that's when you'll render your hand salute, is when the color guard goes to present arms. Okay? From there, it should be pretty quick. They'll drive right by. You guys will drop you.
A vintage World War II plane is providing the flyovers. They are being brought from Indianapolis by limo with a large motorcade. Vets Honor Guard is here, and so is the local National Guard. Here comes the Campbells.
Does it?
Ready! Ready! Ready!
We're very surprised.
Whose dog is that?
I don't know, sweetheart.
Whose dog is that?
Wow. Honey?
Whose dog is that?
Good.
That whose dog is that?
Honey, I have no idea. Wow.
His name's Scooby.
His name's Scooby. Hey.
How's everything going with you guys? Yep. You guys still
Uncle Frank and Aunt Pam?
Overwhelmed. That's very overwhelming. All right, what do you think of it? It's awesome. Just so blessed at all that everybody's support. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
Very good. Wow.
feel like a Hoosier yet?
Yeah. It's definitely everybody's making me feel like one.
Steve Stewart, Chief of Police. Nice to meet you. God bless you, brother. Thank you, brother. Welcome home. Thank you. All right. Your service. All right.
Dress up well.
Hey.
Good to see you. How you doing? Good.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Congratulations. Oh, really so proud of you.
Thank you. Glad you can make it.
Oh, yeah. We got lost. We got lost.
Yeah.
I'm Russ Siegel, and I'm Deputy Director of Veterans Affairs for the state. And the governor sent me down here to make sure we got in this house all right. He said he couldn't make it. He apologized. He's got you in his heart.
Thank you. Tell him thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Lydia.
We're going to help you out on some things.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. Wow.
Wear the CIB. Tell me about that.
It's coveted amongst infantrymen. It's a symbol that we've done our time. We've proven ourselves, and it's someone I hold most and dear to my heart as an infantryman. So once an infantryman, you'll always be one. So you can't ever take that away.
Tell me about it.
Shows you were in it
Yes.
with your brothers.
Yes. It's a brotherhood that I'll have for the longest time. It doesn't matter. The guy could have served in Vietnam, and he's an infantryman, and we're still going to have that brotherhood. So it's definitely been a journey for me and everybody else.
Thanks and welcome home.
Thank you.
Or the land of the free and the home of the
Hello, my name is Captain Orman. I'm here on behalf of the Indiana National Guard. I was contacted by Brad Smith. We work out of Muncie. I'm a member of the 113th Brigade Support Battalion, which is located right here in Muncie. That's where our headquarters is. And I really appreciate this opportunity from Brad and Fairway, and it's a pleasure for us to be here today. Some of my company's back there in the corner, so if you see us around. Brad asked us to set up the POWMI Fallen Soldiers table. This time I'm going to describe the items on our table. This is a tradition. If you ever go to the American Legion or VFW or AMVETS, a lot of times they have these tables permanently set up in memoriam of those that have went before us. Before we begin our festivities this afternoon, I would like to recognize our POW MIAs, calling your attention to the small table which occupies a place of honor near the head table. It is set for 1. Symbolizes the fact that members of our armed forces are missing from our ranks. They are referred to as POWs and MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with their loved ones and families today, so we join with them in this humble tribute. This table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose displayed in the vase reminds us of the families and friends of our missing brothers who keep faith while awaiting their return. The slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. Salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they have waited. The wine glass inverted is so they cannot toast with us this afternoon. The chair is empty because they are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to light the way home, away from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation. Let us pray in silence to the supreme commandment that all brothers will soon again be amongst our ranks. Thank you very much.
Well, I was just told that in my excitement, I never told you who I am, so I guess maybe I assumed everybody already knows me. My name is Brad Smith, and I am with Fairway Mortgage. I'm a loan officer, and I'm proud to be a part of today, proud to be a part of what is happening for Gordon, and very proud to be a part of Fairway Mortgage. We are going to introduce Gordon and the family. We're going to introduce some other people, but first I want to eat. We're falling a little bit behind schedule. I know a lot of you haven't had lunch, so what I'd like is for Gordon, Luis, Sean, Outlaws, if you guys could lead the way, and please be the first through the line. There's more of a reason than just respect for that, but we're going to need you guys to talk sooner than everybody else, so if you guys could lead the way. And then we're gonna start at this end of the tent, just by row straight across after that, if we could, please. Thank you. Well, today's all about a gentleman named Gordon Campbell, Sergeant Gordon Campbell, Sergeant retired Gordon Campbell. Our event today is to honor him, and our hope is to honor all military veterans through honoring one of their own with a mortgage-free house. I work for Fairway Mortgage, and what we do is we sponsor these home giveaways through the Military Warrior Support Foundation and through the Boot Campaign. What they do is collect funds, and through those funds they purchase the houses and put the soldiers up mortgage-free. We, in turn, this year we'll do 16 of those, one of them being right here in Muncie. In turn, we sponsor 16 of them where we foot the bill for the entire sponsorship of the home. And as I said, it's going to Gordon and his wife Sara and their daughters Lydia and Hannah. Yeah, the Military Warrior Support Foundation has a website that lists all the homes that are available through the generous donations of banks that have foreclosed upon these houses. They donate those to the Military Warrior Support Foundation, and the soldiers are able to apply through the foundation for the homes. The minimum requirements, I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I know that one of them is you have to have been injured in battle, combat injured, and have a Purple Heart, which Gordon does. He also has a Bronze Star, an Army Commendation Medal for Valor, along with lots and lots of other awards and accolades. So he looked through the site. Gordon does not have a family. He was a foster child growing up, and his wife Sara has a tremendous family, and they are in Ohio. So the closest to the house that they could find once he was awarded the home was the home in Muncie, and so that's why they chose that home. Said, we're going to need a lot, and he's like, the answer is yes. So we really appreciate what they've done and who they are. Obviously, I'm not a professional MC, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. I've got my notes here. I'm going to read them. You're going to see me losing myself and trying to catch back up and fiddling with my hands and kicking my feet, and everybody that I've talked to about this, about how nervous I am speaking in front of people, already knows. So maybe I'll have to take some lessons off of Mayor Tyler over here at some point. But today's not the day, sorry. The reason we're here today is because we are honoring a true American hero, and Gordon Campbell is just that. Gordon and his wife Sara. I better not forget her because she's a hero too, and she's a big part of their team, and they are a team. So let's give Sara a round of applause as well. You know, one of the things that I've told a lot of people about this event is that we really want to try and honor all veterans. And you know, I think and I hope that we understand that we can't sponsor the home giveaway for every veteran in this country, or not even every veteran in this room. But we hope that by honoring one veteran, we're able to honor all of you in a small way. And so I just hope you guys understand that we love you, and we understand that you guys are the true heroes. And there are people that truly appreciate you. I know there are a lot of active duty veterans, reservists. Can all of you please stand up? Anyone who has served this country, could you please stand up at this time? Give them a big round of applause. Thank you to all of you guys for your service. Thank you very much. Fairway Mortgage has been sponsoring these home giveaways for quite some time, and we couldn't do it without partnerships with certain organizations. And Louise Thaxton, who is an amazing woman, is going to step up in a little bit, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about those organizations and how this whole thing started with Fairway Mortgage. And I'm going to save that story for her. What I want to talk about is how I ended up right here on this stage today in front of you. The truth is, I haven't been with Fairway very long. Started not too long ago. Found out right away the culture, the atmosphere was more about more than just the bottom line. The company talks about taking care of their employees. They talk about their employees taking care of their customers, their clients, and it's really true right from the get-go. I realized that. About my second or third day, I heard a rumor swirling that there might be a home giveaway coming up in Muncie. I don't even know if Eric was supposed to tell me, but he did, and he made me swore me to secrecy, and I only told about 15 or 20 of my closest friends. And then he came up to me about a week later, and he was like a little kid in a candy store. He's like, "It's happening, it's happening." Eric, our branch manager, he's our fearless leader, and he's the one that really pushed it forward. Eric, could you stand up for a second, please? It's Eric this morning. You know, Eric encouraged us from the very beginning to develop a committee within ourselves, and our goal with that committee was to honor Gordon and Sara and the Campbells. And at the time, we didn't even know their name. We didn't know who they were. We didn't know anything about them, other than the fact that we were going to be giving a home away to a true hero. And you know, I was amazed at the amount of people from our office who took time out of their day volunteering to come to these meetings. And from the get-go, we set a list together. We called it our wish list, and we just said in the first meeting, just start throwing out some ideas of things that you want to accomplish. If you were being given a house, what is something you would want for that home? And so we started throwing out crazy ideas. We're throwing out things that I'd like to say because they sound crazy, but I want to save them because he's going to get a lot of these things and he doesn't even realize it yet. So that's the reason we're here. So we're going to get there, I promise. I won't leave you hanging too long. But along the way, a crazy thing started happening, and that is that a lot of you in this room, a lot of the community really started stepping up. And we couldn't believe the generosity, and it really, not that any of us had lost faith in humanity, because we hadn't, but if you ever even doubted the heart and soul of people, this event has brought me to my knees more than once, just thanking the Lord above for what he's doing for the Campbells, for the morale of our country, of our city, and I know that there are more people like us that feel this way. So I want to just right now just give a big round of applause to all of you who have donated and taken time to be here today. So thank you so much. And of course, you know, it all starts with you know, I can sit and plug Fairway and how much I love my company, but it starts with a leader, and all the way at the top, our true leader is Steve Jacobson, our CEO. And Jake, I don't know where I saw you sneak in. Where are you? Steve, could you stand up? Because Steve has made this happen nationwide. Muncie isn't the only place that this is happening. With Louise, from your generosity and the It's a great company to work for. So thank you, Jake. Fairway is giving away nationwide by the end of this year. There will be 16 homes. I think we're number 11. We're number 11. There'll be 3 more this week still. Kyle, where are you at? Kyle is a member of the Outlaw Platoon, just like Gordon. Kyle's getting a house tomorrow. We're really happy to be able to play. I would spend all day going through all of you who have donated. You can see all of the names listed on the board. If you open your programs to page 2 or 3, you'll notice a long list of companies that have donated, have done things. And I'm not going to stand here and thank every single one of you. I want you to know that you are appreciated, and I would ask that everybody here understands that these people gave from their heart. Not a single one of them asked for anything. They didn't ask for recognition. In fact, most of them told us they don't want to be recognized. But we do ask that when you're shopping, you don't necessarily have to buy from them, but at least maybe give them first crack if you're looking in that area. So please take that home with you, look at it. These are people that are really generous and really helped with nothing in return asked for. So thank you for that. But with that said, there are a few individuals that I am going to single out because I was blown away by their generosity, and I'm fearful of doing this because I fear that it may minimize what others have done, and I definitely don't want to do that. We appreciate everyone for what they've done, but there are a few here that I think really need to be commended for what they've done. Some of these things I'm getting ready to say, Gordon and Sara maybe don't know who did it, they just know it was done. They may not know that it's even happening. So there's some things I may say before I bring Luis up here, and then at the end we have a couple things that we want to give to the Campbell family. I've already talked about Mike and Chad and Amazing Joe's. Chris Cameron, CNC Construction. Are you here, Chris? I saw you earlier. Could you stand up, please? Chris has been amazing. I think that I asked Chris. I called Chris and told him they had a couple holes in the barn, and asked him just to put some plywood up and stop the rain from coming in. And next thing I know, he's tearing up the whole house, fixing it, doing everything. And the Campbell say he was over there 8 or 9 nights straight doing work for him and helping him. And just an amazing guy with a huge heart. And Chris, we thank you and your company. Jason Brooks of J. Crew Landscape. Can you stand up, Jason? I know you're right over here. Nikki, you're included too. Go ahead and stand up. Stand up. When I brought Jason out to show him the house, and I said, I told him what we were doing, and he came to look at the home and told me, and I hope Jason, I hope you don't mind me sharing this story. I know he didn't want to be recognized at all, but it's too bad. That's what comes with being my friend. I brought him out and I said, hey, there's some work that we'd like to get done, landscaping, and he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. My wife handles that stuff. I don't landscape. I want it cleaned up. I want it to look pretty. And he came out and we walked around the house. We looked at everything, and he said, Brad, I really want to help. He said, but this is a lot of work, and he threw out a figure of how much it was. And I said, Jason, what can you do? And he said, you know what? I'm gonna landscape this part of it here. We're gonna make it real nice, and that's in our budget. And I said, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Gave him a copy of Sean Parnell's book, and we'll learn a little bit more about Sean. The book's called Outlaw Platoon, and it was about Gordon, his platoon, and their time in Afghanistan. And Jason calls me a week later, and he's all in. He's read the book, and he's ready to go. So as you walk out, if you see the house, you see all the beautiful landscaping, please walk around front. That was J. Crew, and he put Nikki, whose son is currently in Afghanistan. Is that?
No, he's in Air Force. He's in Georgia right now.
Okay, her son is active duty. Air Force, and Nikki made phone call after phone call, as I understand it, and really helped to get their vendors to donate. So thank you. Thank you. Chase Winkle of Winkle Mowing, are you here? I didn't see you anywhere. Chase, is there anybody here from Winkle? No? Okay, we'll skip them then. No, they spent countless hours. The grass that we're on right now was up to our shoulders when we first started, and they spent, a lot of this property was, and they spent hours and hours mowing it down, coming out here and getting that done, so we really appreciate them. Colleen Laughlin of Shoestring Design. Can you stand? Colleen, I've known her since I was a little bitty one. I posted on Facebook that we were doing the event, and Colleen sent me a private message on Facebook and said she wanted to be involved. That she had 9 children, and she's used to little girls. She's used to designing, and she really wanted to handle their bedrooms. Gordon and Sara, I think they're crazy, but they've graciously said anybody who wants to tour the house after this, just take your shoes off and they'll let you go through their home. I tried to convince them otherwise, but they're down for it. So if you do take that opportunity, please notice the girls' bedrooms. Almost everything in there outside the beds, Colleen took care of that, including the walls and everything that was painted. So thank you. Dave Stanley, Nap Supply, they were not unable to make it. He had a prior engagement, but we went to them and asked them through Chris Cameron, who had introduced us, and we just asked them to do something for the family. He went to the house. They had a horrible, when they first moved into the home, they had a horrible sulfur smell in the water. Dave went out there and installed a whole new, some sort of system. I have no idea what it is, but the sulfur smell went away. It was a very expensive system. The thing that amazed me the most, though, and the real point of the story, is that Dave called me and said, hey, I noticed when they were showing me the house that they have a huge jacuzzi tub upstairs. And I said, yeah, that's very nice. And he said, well, that little tiny water heater is not going to cut it. So we're going to donate a water heater, a big, huge hot water heater, to make sure they can take long baths up there. And I said, wow, that's amazing. Nap Supply, another great local company. I'm almost done here. Cam Paddock, E&B Paving, are you here, or anyone from E&B? Could you please stand up back there? I see you. There were some phone calls made, and Cam reached out to us and said that they really wanted to help, and as you see, part of the driveway there is unpaved, and then the whole entire thing is paved, and E&B donated that out of their generosity, and we really appreciate what you've done. So thank you. It makes a big difference to the family. Brooke and Brian Shreve, Kyle Renninger of Redhead Salon, and I know Aaron Cantrell is here as well. We had talked to them about just trying to get a donation of maybe getting Sarah's hair cut and colored or something. We thought that'd be really nice if they would do that. And they came back to us and they said, we're going to do that, and we're going to do Gordon's, and we're going to do the girls, and we're going to do all of it for a year. Wow. As long as they want. Not only that, Not only that, we're going to offer cuts, colors, perms, and all the product they want every time they come in is also donated from Redhead. So go all out. Could you stand up, please, from Redhead? And they have a product basket and some things they brought with them today. Thank you very much. Where's Ryan Barrett at? I saw you walk in. There's Mr. Barrett. Can you stand up, Ryan? Ryan's what do I say, former Marine? Is that?
No. What's a Marine?
Always a Marine. Yes. Ryan's a Marine who moonlights as a civilian. He doesn't even know why he's being recognized, but Ryan was our very first donor. I ran into him at another event and talked to him a little bit about it, and he pulls out his checkbook and writes a check right then and there for a very significant amount of money. And then he said, if you need anything else, I want you to get back with me. And Ryan has a company called Adcos. Okay, what they do is they store military vehicles for deployed soldiers. Is that accurate? Okay. And so he's heavily involved in these things. And I told him, I said, the Campbells, he's been discharged from the Army. He's now living at Sarah's parents' house in Ohio. And they just found out they're getting the house earlier than they thought, and they need to get some things moved from Ohio to Indiana. Can you help me out? Because I know you deal with a lot of people that ship things. And he called back about a day later and said, it's taken care of, just give me the address, and we'll move all their stuff for free. So they moved it to the house from Ohio. So thank you for that. BJ at the Arsenal, could you stand up, BJ? The Arsenal's the local CrossFit box, not a gym. downtown Muncie. They have been instrumental in helping us to get donors, making connections. They handled a lot of the things that we had going on today with registration, and they've just done so much manpower-wise and connections that we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Gill Brothers Furniture. Anyone here from Gill Brothers? Okay, Steve Gill went out and met with him. As you go through the house, you'll notice the living room furniture. He donated all of it. They went out and met with him, and he just said, "You pick what you want," and he gave it to him. It was incredible. Southside Furniture. Anyone here from Southside Furniture? No? Okay. Along the same lines, Paula Justice of the mayor's office made a call out to them. Had a connection, and they donated both of the beds for the girls' room. So Southside Furniture, we appreciate them too. I have two more here. Hoosier Flag. Are there representatives from Hoosier Flag here? Way back. Could you stand up, please? The flagpole that you see out front, I don't know if you noticed it coming in, but they not only donated the pole, they asked me if I had someone to install it, and I said I did. And my dear friend Jim Carnes said, "You know, I will be out there. I will do it. I got you. Do not worry about it. I will handle it." He calls me and says, "This isn't a normal flagpole." Heard. So it's my understanding, even though we've been kind of busy the last few days, that Jim had contacted you and you sent a whole crew out, and you guys have basically helped him to install that and get it done. And not only that, you donated 5 flags to the Campbells, so they will have flags moving forward, and we really appreciate that. So thank you very much. The last thing I'd like to say is Mayor Dennis Tyler, and he asked me not to say anything, but I'm going to. Again, when you're my friend, that's what you get, sir. Mayor Tyler, I went to him because I knew that he had connections. I knew he had a big heart, and regardless of your political affiliation, mine and his happen to be opposite, but that's okay. He's a good man, and he has a huge heart. And so I went to his office, and him and Paula Justice, who has been an angel throughout this whole thing. We sat down, and he said, "What do you want? What do you need? I'm going to make some calls. I'm going to do what I can." And he did exactly that. He did exactly what he said he would do. And it meant the world to me. He opened up doors that never would have been opened. Probably half of the people on that list are because of phone calls and connections that they helped make. And so, you know, the one thing I pointed out to him real early on is I said, "I want to let you know that the Campbells, even though the house is in Muncie, they're not going to be able to vote for you, Mayor. I hate to tell you, they're outside of your district." He said, "That's okay. That's okay. I still want to help." So I believe Mayor Tyler also has agreed to say a few words and has something for the family. So Mayor Tyler, if you could come up here, please.
Wow, what a great afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and what a great family. And Brad, I know this has been just a labor of love for you for months, and I'm sure Mom and Dad sitting over there are very proud of what you've been able to put together to honor this family. And, you know, it's real easy sometimes to get up here and say a lot of words and speak in many different ways, but you know, sometimes just looking at an audience and what the program is and what this is all about is much more than any words that you can ever put together. But I do want to tell you one little thing about, you know, Gordon, you know, just to show you that he's just like me or any other guy in the room that happens to be married and has kids and or grandkids and that, but he happens to be a hero. The day that they were up in our office, and Brad brought them up, and we're all sitting around there talking, and their kids are there, and they're just having a ball running all over the conference room, and just hooting and hollering, and one little girl, Hannah, kept saying, "I want to say something, I want to say something." And so finally we said, "Okay, what do you want to say?" And she looked, she said, "My dad likes to run around the house naked." So, That's our hero. And you know what? He's earned that right. This is something as the mayor of Muncie that we really don't do very often. Have almost wrapped up our second year in office, and we just don't do this. But this is such a special occasion, and Muncie, Indiana is so honored to have Gordon Campbell and his family to be part of our community and for his service. And what we would like to do, Gordon, is present you with the key to the city.
Woo! Woo!
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, Gordon, you know that's just symbolic, right? I just want to make sure. All right. Well, the reason that Fairway is involved and Jake is a huge part of it, but Louise Thaxton is a superstar in our company. She is well known. She's one of those people that if you ever work in the corporate world, you hear the name and everybody just kind of bows down. But as this project's gone on, I've realized that she's so much more than just a fantastic loan officer. She's an even better person. And so I'm going to allow Louise to come up and she can share with you a little bit about herself and how things got started and some other things as well. So, Louise. This is Louise.
Yes. Pardon me, Brad.
That's okay.
Excuse me. No, I am not Louise Thaxton. My name is Eric McMillan, and I just had to come up here. Couldn't do it with Brad because he made out the agenda and the itinerary for this afternoon. But I echo everything that Brad said in relation to the company that we work for. Truly blessed to be a part of a group and a team. We are so thankful to have Gordon, Sara, Lydia, and Hannah a part of our Fairway family, and we look forward to spending a lot of great times together. But really the reason that I had to come up here was just we've had a lot of people do a lot of things for us. The amount of support from our branch and the committee members has been overwhelming. There several times that it's been quite overwhelming. But in particular, I have to just say that Brad Smith, for the last 4 months or so, this has been his passion. And seems like every waking hour, Brad was doing something for today. And to say it's a labor of love, Mayor, is absolutely correct. Brad and I were talking and he said, it's just, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. And every day, Brad did that. We have a lot of great people, and I want to mention every person's name, but I definitely think we need to just say thank you to Brad for this, and we certainly appreciate all you've done.
Louise Thaxton.
Well, I wanted to goodness, I'm going to be tied to this. This is not going to be good. This will work. Okay. The way this all started is about 3 years ago, and I don't know if anyone here knows where Fort Polk, Louisiana is. If you're in the Army, you've probably heard of it. But I have an office in Leesville, and I serve a lot of military clients. I am in the mortgage business. And I saw a news clip, I saw a little clip for the boot campaign. And it was, buy a pair of boots. A portion of the proceeds go to non-profit organizations that help wounded warriors. Well, it seemed a natural fit for me and my team to get our boots on. We put our boots on every Friday, and we wear red to honor, to remember everyone deployed. Well, the deeper I got into the boot campaign, and I just shared this earlier today, is I wanted to do more. So I determined I would buy a pair of boots for every day I wanted to live free. And that just happened to be 365 days. And so I started giving away boots to other people who could give to other people, and became they call me the boot evangelist. And I was stirred on because in my work, I sat across from a soldier practically every day that had just come back from Iraq or just back from Afghanistan. And I was just compelled to the cause that we needed to do something. It was I can't pay them back. I can only do my small part, so that became my small part. Well, I am one of those people that if I'm wearing boots, I want you wearing boots, okay? I'm going to try to talk you into it. I am a true evangelist at heart, so I'm going to try to talk you into it. And Steve Jacobson has a very hard time, the CEO of Fairway, telling me no because I keep pressing. I said, if you could just give me 15 minutes in front of the people of Fairway at an annual meeting, just give me 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, we raised $250,000. And an obligation to not just put our boots on, but, and I don't know, some of you may not understand this, but sometimes at our church we have building projects and people pledge. You know, I pledged $20, I pledged $20, and I said, well, you know what, this isn't like that because we got a payroll deduction form, baby, and we getting your money. And it's going to come out. And so for the last 20 months, the employees of Fairway, many of them sacrificially, have given into this, the Fairway Fund, into this project so that we could sponsor 13 mortgage-free homes in 2013. And that's employees. And there's a lot of big companies that can do that, but these are the workers, these are the secretaries, these are the loan officers, these are the processors, these are the corporate people that do that. And so that is a huge thing. I thank Jake for giving me 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes. I'm going to talk you into something. We might take an offering here today. Somebody got a plate? So as I began, we gave away a mortgage-free home. Actually, if you've ever been to Leesville, population 8,000, not too many people want to retire there. I personally don't understand it. I love it, but they seem to want to get out of the Army and move away. And so we were actually doing a celebration, Operation Grateful Nation, last Veterans Day, and it was to honor our Vietnam vets. Thank you very much for serving. You weren't told that many times, but thank you, Vietnam vets, for serving. And we were doing, yes, thank you, Vietnam vets. And our little community of 8,000 people wanted to do this celebration, so I had become acquainted with Sean Parnell, New York Times best-selling author, Outlaw Platoon. Loved his book, read his book, How to Use an Army Ranger. I'm serving the Army. My team have to read the book. I mean, they have to read the book. It's required reading. And because if you're going to serve the military, you need to know what they go through. And I had
sorry, Louise.
Oh, there you go. Here's the book. Everybody needs to read it by 5. I will expect a check in the mail, Sean. So I told, I'm on the Military Affairs Committee, I said, let's get Sean Parnell because he'll be a great speaker. We hired him, and we're having it at a fairgrounds. I mean, we're talking about a very rural area, central Louisiana, at a fairgrounds, in the rodeo arena. And Sean is speaking. He's out there signing books. Okay. Now, little did we know that just 3 days before, one of his platoon, Gordon Campbell and Sara, and Lydia and Hannah, had just, through PCS orders from the Army, had come into town into Leesville. Gordon and Sara on their way to Walmart to get an air mattress to sleep on because their household goods had not arrived. Turn on the radio station. You think this isn't God. Turn on the radio station, and they hear his captain is speaking at the local event. Captain he's not seen since for 6 or 7 years, 6.5 years, he's not seen his captain of the outlaw platoon. Well, they turn around and they head to the fairgrounds. Now, we're all at the fairgrounds having a big old time. Sean's about to speak, and suddenly he hears, and I don't want to steal Sean's thunder because he may be talking about this, but he hears his name being called, and there is this glorious reunion of two outlaws together. What a fantastic, just to witness it was unbelievable. It was incredible. Well, it was a great day that day to see these two, and Gordon took pictures with us. And Sean told me, he said, take care of my man. I said, yes, sir, because that's what I say to Army captains who are Army Rangers. Well, that's what I tell everybody I say, Sean. Now hush. So, Sara and Gordon, and we do adopt some military family into our Fairway family. But it just so happened that Gordon and Sara wanted to know about my church. Where do you go to church? And I said, buddy, I mean, it's not that I don't want you to come to church, but it's an hour from here. I mean, we have a very rural little country church. Sara goes, we'll drive for church. I like people who drive for church. And she said, we'll drive. Well, as it turns out, Gordon didn't come until one Sunday, Mother's Day, when Sara wasn't with him. He comes alone to our church. And I didn't mention this, but I'm a mother of 5 daughters, a grandmother of 18, and I have a very large family. You imagine Mother's Day at my house. Well, here's Gordon at my church, and I say to Gordon, now look, buddy, it's not Afghanistan, but it's close. It's pretty wild at my house, but you know what? Come on over. We got a big Sunday dinner, what we call it in the South, Sunday dinner after church, and he came over. And we got to talking, and just one thing led to another. And I said, you know, Gordon, we're just going to adopt you in this family. Good luck with them sisters of yours over there. Because they're going to be bossing you around, and I think they did, didn't they, Gordon? And we just adopted him not just into our church family, but into our personal family. And then Sara came back, and I'm Nana to Hannah and Lydia. Well, then he comes to me a few months later and says, well, it looks like I'm getting out of the Army. I said, why? And he said, well, I'm going to be declared disabled, 100% disabled. I'm going through the medical reviews, and I'm going to be out. And I go, oh, wow. Because I knew it was really, he loved the Army. You know, that's a sad thing. He loved serving. He would still be serving. But that they have said that he is disabled. And I said, you know what, buddy, let's do something about that. We had been in the process. We'd already done 7 or 8 homes. And I said, where do you want to live? Well, next thing I know, they're coming to me. We found a house in Muncie, Indiana. Muncie, did they write a song about that? Seems like I remember a song about Muncie, Indiana, yeah? And so that, I wanted to share that story with you. And Gordon and Sara, I love you, buddy. Sara and but Muncie is a long way from Louisiana. I don't know if y'all know that, but it is a long way. But I got it because Sara's parents live a couple hours here from me. It was perfect. So I just wanted to share with that. Military Warrior Support Foundation, when we partner with the Boot Campaign, they actually have several nonprofits. Military Warrior Support Foundation was started by General Leroy Sisco in Austin, Texas. He's got a lot of pull, he's got a lot of connections, and he wanted a way to give back. And so he gets these homes from different banks that are given to him, but he needs someone to come in, pay the taxes, the insurance, the repairs, all the things to do the renovation, and then together with the boot campaign, they find sponsors that come in and do the homes, and that's where we come in. And it has been an honor to know you, Gordon, and your family, and I look forward to, son, you coming down to Louisiana and visiting. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, that's what you say. I'm now known as Mama Outlaw, in case you didn't know. So, at this time, I could say a lot of things about Sean Purnell. I could say a lot of stuff about Sean Purnell. He and I travel around. He's going. We've got 3 more home giveaways. We're on this road tour for this week, traveling around. We're going to give away 4 homes in 4 days to 4 wounded warriors the week before Veterans Day, and Sean's going every step with us. He wrote the book, and I beg you to read the book. He wrote it to tell the story of his men. He didn't write it to be a New York Times bestseller author, but that was a nice touch to get that, right, Sean? But he wrote it to tell the story of his men. He really did, and I appreciate him for that. It's a beautifully told story of courage and of fortitude and of leadership. And so at this time, I'm going to ask Sean to come on, and if we could just give a true patriot and hero, Sean Purnell.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about. When I talk about veteran reintegration, I had this awesome metaphor where he talked about every one of his warriors would come back from combat, whether it was with the U.S. Army or with neighboring tribes, weighed down by a pack full of stones. And Sitting Bull would not allow those people back into the tribe until he brought his entire tribe together, much like this, and that warrior told his story of the war. And Sitting Bull would say that it was his tribe's job to take those stones out of that pack one at a time, so that the tribe could help him bear the burden of the war. And in a constitutional republic where we elect our leaders and then those leaders send us to war, it's the responsibility of our society to take care of our heroes.
Yes.
And this is the standard. This is the model. And what you guys have done here is extraordinary. We need to replicate this same battle drill in every town, in every city across America. Yes. And if we do that, our nation will be a much better place. Yes. For not only our citizens, but for our warriors as well. You know, why do guys like us and Rob Pinholt, member of Outlaw Platoon, Kyle Lewis, member of Outlaw Platoon, and Gordo, member of Outlaw Platoon, why do we serve? Or everybody else in this room, why do you serve? You serve because you love your country, you love your family, you love your friends, and you want to protect them. And so you go to war and it changes you. People don't come back from combat the same person. And so for me, I'm sitting around with my buddies and we're all drinking beer and I'm telling them about some of my combat experience, some of the battles that we were in, and I could see immediately the mood around the table get depressed. You know, one of my buddies went up and grabbed another beer. Nobody really truly wanted to hear it. And so as a warrior, and I didn't recognize this at the time, but as somebody who's been there, that runs contrary. My story is hurting them. It runs contrary to the reason why I joined in the first place, to protect. When I saw that my story was doing damage to others, I took all of my experiences and I locked them away. You see, a lot of veterans do that from World War I, World War II till present day. They take their war and they lock it away inside themselves, and war, much like acid, can destroy somebody from the inside out. So giving a man and a hero like Gordon Campbell the opportunity and the platform and the key to the city and all these amazing sponsors with Fairway Mortgage to be a part of your community and holistically bring him back into the fold is what it's all about. Yes. You're changing his life. So kudos to all of you. So June 10th, 2006 was our Alive Day. Also Kyle Lewis was wounded on that day as well. We were in Afghanistan tasked with an observation post monitoring infill routes from Pakistan to Afghanistan. Ultimately, our mission was to close with and destroy the enemy, find the enemy, but our primary goal was to protect the people and make sure the people of Afghanistan were safe. So we were watching the roads, and as the sun came up on June 10th, 2006, I had called for some fire missions all along the mountain on what we thought were suspected enemy positions. And the moment that my fire mission was complete, it was like all hell broke loose. It was like somebody took a stick and hit a hornet's nest with it, and bam, bad guys were everywhere. They started hitting us, our platoon, with airburst mortars that landed directly on top of us. I had 24 guys on the ground, 5 gun trucks, and 360-degree security. And instantaneously, I was knocked unconscious. My platoon sergeant was wounded. One of my squad leaders was shot in the leg, had arterial bleeding in his leg. One of my team leaders was shot in the arm, had arterial bleeding in his arm. And 8 other of my men, of the 24 men that I had on the ground, were wounded. So half of my force, first minute of the fight, knocked out. I woke up to my platoon sergeant screaming that he was hit, saying that he had a bullet or a shrapnel injury to his back. Not a good day for a young leader like me when a guy like your platoon sergeant is your lifeline, teaches you everything that you know. And I was laying down, I was looking at Sergeant Baldwin, Phil Baldwin, and Bennett Garvin. Sergeant Phil Baldwin was bleeding to death on the battlefield, like I said, with a bullet wound to his leg. He didn't care about the bullet wound to his leg. The only thing he was trying to do was stop the bleeding on Bennett Garvin's arm, because Bennett Garvin was also bleeding to death. So there I was, and at the time I didn't realize it, but when I had been knocked unconscious, I had 3 skull fractures with a cerebral spinal fluid leak. I had this clear fluid leaking from my nose and from my ears. I didn't really know how serious the injury was at the time, but I remember looking at the 2 trucks that were facing east, where the contact was heaviest, and I saw Gordon Campbell, who wasn't even supposed to be on patrol that day, but one of his guys needed a rest, and he said, "You know what, I got it." He raised his hand, and as a squad leader, an E6 squad leader, took the gun. And so there was Staff Sergeant Gordon Campbell on a 50 caliber machine gun holding back the enemy, and right next to him was Kyle Lewis on another machine gun holding back the enemy where the contact was heaviest. Directly east of our position were 2 ridge lines, 3 machine guns on each one. So what the enemy did, they had fought exactly like we do. They had used artillery to keep our heads down, and then they brought up machine guns to emplace their support by fire, and they had us in a terrible, terrible crossfire. There was nothing we could do. My men were bleeding out, we were pinned down and surrounded, and I thought to myself, they're fighting exactly like us. What's the next step? What's the next step of the procedure? And I thought to myself, they're going to attack. They're going to attack us. And so from those ridgelines, those 2 support by fire positions, 50 bad guys from each poured down the hills and came at us like a big crab claw around us. They were trying to overwhelm our platoon on that little hilltop, and they came charging up the hill. And we called artillery in danger close. Some of the artillery was landing almost right on top of our position. We were watching the enemy be vaporized, and then right through the shot and the shell and the smoke, 5 more would replace them. There was nothing we could do. And I just remember watching Gordon Campbell, and I watched a rocket-propelled grenade hit his truck, knock out the gun, burned his uniform, studded his arms with shrapnel all the way up underneath his armpit, burned his arms. I watched Gordon stand back up in the turret after that, put the gun back on, and continue to take the fight to the enemy. And I watched Kyle Lewis moments after that, and the truck just adjacent to him was suppressing fire, trying to allow Gordon time to stand back up into the turret. Kyle Lewis got shot in the head right then and there. Kyle Lewis dropped from the turret. But after that, Kyle Lewis got back up and kept fighting. And so I always say this to people, but good leaders are, they tell you all the time, as an infantry leader, your job is to inspire your men. But what I learned that day is that great men inspire their leaders. And these outlaws truly are the best of us. Listen, like this is not, we're talking about, this is not something that I was ever cut out to do. I was a 24-year-old kid. I brought a blow dryer and hair gel to basic training. Speaking of product, I mean, you want to hear an interesting side note? 7:30, I get a knock on my door, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is it? I go over, it's like, sir, it's me. Sergeant Campbell looking for hair gel. And I'm like, I bet you're glad those drill sergeants didn't beat that out of me in basic training, because you got your hair gel today. But I remember as Sergeant Campbell was, I remember how Sergeant Campbell conducted himself that day, and all of my men, and it just inspired me to always do the best that I could for them. And so that's why I always endeavor, now that the book is published and I've got a platform, to try to do some good in this world, to do good things for everybody who served. I really think that's what life is all about, doing more good for others than you get. And I am so honored to be here with Fairway today. I mean, it truly is a company that embodies everything good in this world. And as evidenced by all of these amazing sponsors and everything that you've done here today, for the Campbells, the mayor, and the kid. I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm very honored to be a part of it. So thank you guys for your time, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about Gordo.
Thank you, Sean. Wow. You know, Louise said it, but I mentioned it earlier talking about Jason, and this book is, it's a life changer. It really is. It really opens your eyes to what's going on. I told Sean when I met him that, you know, I thanked him for his service and all those things, but at the same time I want him to know that he has a true gift. He has a gift as a storyteller and as a writer. It's unbelievable. Your book is fantastic. I couldn't put it down. Couldn't put it down. Half the time Eric thought I was working, I was just reading your book. You know, Keith from J. Crew, I forgot to mention you. I'm sorry, they pointed that out to me, but I know you've done a lot for the family too, Keith, so thank you. That was not intentional. All right, I do want to bring someone else up here now. Brian and Drew from Sharp, are you guys here? Sharp Business Systems, coming up? Here they come. They're working their way up here. These guys have been really, really cool. Kathy Miller from our office had introduced us to them through her husband Bruce, who works with them. We don't even do business with them. These guys out of Indianapolis, we're going to, aren't we, Eric? They found out what we were doing. We went and then they invited our whole team over to their office, and we gave them a little presentation about what was happening, and said, hey, we need a little bit of help with this. Maybe you guys want to throw in some coin. Maybe you guys want to throw in some printing. Maybe and they just really stepped up. They handled all the parking today. All those guys that you saw on the vest and doing all that was them. Barely handled it. Yes. The programs that you have were designed and printed by them, donated. Very nice. I think they did a fantastic job on that. So, thank you. They have printed numerous, too many to mention, flyers and pamphlets and brochures and things that we've been passing out and that a lot of you have read, and anything that you've basically read about this project, that came from them. So that was great. But at this time, I'd also like to ask Sean to come back up here. I'd like to ask Gordon to come up. Kyle Lewis, if you could come up as well, please. And Robert, you're not going to get out of it either, buddy. Guys, let's give them a hand because these are the outlaws that are here today. And is his last name Pilon? Pilon. Bobby Pilon was here in the Indianapolis event and had a family issue and had to leave, but we wish he could be here for this as well. But they wanted to present something to you, so.
Yeah, just to thank you guys for your service and what you guys went through with a unique group. We put together a flag to commemorate as a memento for what you guys did, and we just want to present that to you today.
Open it up.
We got one.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh man, no way. That is awesome. That is great.
We also had to make some for all the members of our Fairway team, so you guys will make sure, we want you to autograph those for us if you could. That's a lot of us are going to put those in our office. And Brian said that you know, if anybody here wants to get one of those flags, we can set up another order and get those ordered for you. So if you read the book and you feel so compelled, just let us know. One more round of applause for Brian and Drew. They did so much. Thank you guys. All right, Sara, Lydia, Hannah, Gordon, could you guys please come back up this way? That a girl, Lydia. Down low. Too slow. Michael from Reynolds Farm Equipment, I know you're here. Reynolds, representative from Reynolds Farm Equipment. Could you please make your way to the stage, please? I'm just going to go ahead and give you the mic and let you do what you do. Sorry. That's what you get.
I'm Michael Lawson with Reynolds Farm Equipment. We're a local John Deere dealer right in your neck of the woods now. So this is Erica Evans, Brian Jacobs, and Lee Walden here representing Reynolds Farm Equipment. Seems like forever ago, Brad, since you and Vicki Marconi came in and talked to us about this project, and we felt compelled we wanted to do something. So as a business, we wanted to present you, your family, to be able to maintain your lawn. It's sitting in your garage, a brand new John Deere lawn tractor.
Nope, not yet. And so all of my buddies in the lawn care business just breathed a real big sigh of relief. I saw Jason Brooks. He's like, "How are we going to maintain this place?" Louise, at this time, if you could come up, let's do the presentation of the house, the key. Do we have that to give to him? Did we bring that?
Actually, there is a key, but girls, do y'all know where that key is?
Uh-oh, we're not doing the house, the key presentation.
The little key.
Dad, can you grab that, please?
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
And while they're grabbing that, I will say that there's an amazing band that's donated their time, and they are going to play until I believe it's 5:30. Is that right? Is that what it says in the programs? So there's time to mingle, to get autographs if you'd like, to meet Louise, to meet Gordon, Sarah, Lydia, and Hannah, to meet the family. please feel free to stay. There's also cake that Andrew Lloyd Jones' wife made. I don't know if you guys noticed those cakes, but they were awesome. They were fantastic. So you guys can help yourself to some cake. It's going to be cut for us in the barn. It should be done by now. But the Xanadu Trio is going to be playing, and they are very, very good. So please stick around. I'd like to meet each and every one of you, shake your hand, and just say thank you for what you've done, especially those I didn't have a chance to do today. So I'll give it back to Louise, and then we'll finish up here.
And I just want to echo what Sean said, is that this is truly the model of how our warriors should return. You guys have done something that is beautiful. It's just beautiful. And you've set the bar so high. God bless you all, each and every one of you, for what you've done. And I thank Brad for just having a heart and the calling to do it. For Eric, not making him work so he could do it. Now get back to work, Brad. But this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful community. And I thank you as his adopted mama from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of Fairway, on behalf of the employees of Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, the Boo Campaign, and Military Warrior Support Foundation, here is the, I don't think you've got a lock that big, but a symbolic key to the home. Campbell.
You'll have to excuse me, I'm not a very good public speaker or talker. Y'all hear me? Am I doing this good? Am I doing well? You know, some advice that somebody gave me, my father-in-law, which he's given me lots of advice. He kind of just said, just go up there and tell a joke. So a joke that Hannah always used to tell after this movie came out, Wreck-It Ralph, says, why did the hero flush the toilet? It was his duty. I didn't, as everybody said, that I love my country and I would do it again. And as I said before, I thank my wife, Lydia, and Hannah for the support that they've given me through some rough times. And I want to thank the community of Muncie. I don't know what that was. I want to thank the community of Muncie for welcoming us into their community, because there's been times where we've moved to another community and we didn't know a single person there. So thank you all very much. And Brad, thank you for putting this together. Thank you. Okay, Lydia would like to say something. So.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. So, give it back over to Brad.
That's a true American hero, ladies and gentlemen, right there. It's a true hero. All right, well, thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. Again, please stick around as long as you'd like. They did say you could go through the house against my better judgment, but they did ask me to make sure that everybody does take their shoes off if you walk through their house. So bathrooms are around back of the barn if anybody was wanting to know. There are some porta potties back there, and enjoy some cake and some music. Thank you very much.
That's why I fear it won't do. And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not